Okay, so you know what? I took your advice. So many of you said last time I didn't know where to put this little scarecrow girl. And so many of you said the front page. So that's what I did. I put her on the front page of the journal, and I think she's so darn cute on there. And you know what? I'm going to add this tutorial into the recorded one or two. So that you have this. It's from this set right here. And I sort of did it, at the last minute, just on a whim, thinking, I might as well do one of these little characters because I took this sentiment here. I love fall most of all, which is this one right here. I took that. I love it. It's so cute. Fits perfectly in my little wreath. And then I saw these little guys, and this one would be cute too. He'd be really super easy. You could do them on opposite pages even. So with this little birdhouse would be really cute. So any of these would be great to watercolor. Here she is right here. They come with the dies. So you can cut them out and just kind of put them wherever. So I'm going to include a coloring tutorial on this one, in case you want to add her to your cover or somewhere inside your journal. With this one, like I said last time, I had to use a ribbon because I couldn't get a clasp to shut it. It was so full and had so much stuff in here. So I used a ribbon, but isn't it cute? A little ribbon is very cute on here. So if that happens to you and you cannot close your journal because look at the gap here, try a ribbon. And what I did was I closed it tight, and then I put tied the ribbon on. And then it opens a little bit and gets snug with the ribbon. So it's easy to remove. So you push it down and it's easy to take off. It just slips right off and easily off and on. So that was kind of another kind of fun accident. It was kind of a fun accident. So let me take this off and I'll show you what we did. So this is what we did last time. Let me get this all straightened out here. So we did this page and the cover last time. And so this tutorial, we're going to do this one. This little frame with the border, the little mailbox. And okay, let me tell you what I did with the mailbox originally is I cut this open. So I took an X-Acto and I cut a slit right here. And I thought that was such a cute idea. And you can see all these little leaves that I added in here from, let me show you what set that's from. It's from this one. But any dies, that have little leaves like this, I was going to put them in the mailbox and kind of, have them coming out. Well, I glued it down and then I glued the slot shut. So I couldn't do that. But I think it would be a really cute idea to do that. So keep that in mind with this little mailbox. It's so versatile that you can cut. So you want to just take an X-Acto, cut a slit right here, and then you can tuck anything into the mailbox. And I think those little leaves would have been so cute in there. But alas, I glued it down to my page right here, and then I couldn't open it. So, it's just things happen. And, we all make goofs. I make goofs too. And, sometimes we just make it work, or sometimes we do it again. We just do it again. If I had time, I would have done it again because I just thought that was such a cute idea. But it's also cute, with the pumpkins, just like this. You could also tuck a little note in there, which that would also be really, really cute. So when you glue it, so what I would have done is cut that slit and then probably just glue around here, just around the edges, and then it will lay flat in here. So you could tuck, a little, you could fold up a little, sentiment like this, just fold it up and tuck it into the mailbox. And it would just be so cute. Pull it out and tuck it back in. Okay, just an idea for you. Okay, so then the next page, here's that little fold out or tip out page. And it's just attached just like you would. See this little score line here? And this edge? It's just attached like you would a regular page into your journal. But you get an extra page without taking up room in the spine. So this is what I mean with your little journal. You could do the same exact thing. Just cut an extra page, just cut an extra page and then glue it to the outside edge. So just like this, we're going to assemble this. So I'll show you exactly what I mean. Sometimes it's more confusing to talk about it than it is to just show it. So I'm going to show it. We're going to actually make this page. And then here's the back side. So my idea was that you just open it up and you just see more and more, kind of like a big reveal. But you know, you could do it however you want. And if you did that, that tip out page, this is what I mean by half. You could just do half a page with a really cute border. You could take one of these little scallop borders and make a really cute border and just have it tip out halfway. Or maybe you do another one and then you have 2 tip outs. That would be really cute also. So, you know, there's just, if you want to jam your journal full, you totally can do that with this idea. And then I trimmed this off so that it wasn't fighting with the score line. So see where the score line is for the page? When it's right up against that score line, it can kind of hang up a little bit. So I took my decorative die and I just trimmed it off a little bit. And that really made a difference. And then here on the back side, just like normal. And then it can fold out like this or like this. I mean, it's so cute. So we're going to make that. And then we're going to do the back side of this page. And then these pages from this one on will be in the tutorial. So there's not that many left to do. So I think that's what I'm thinking, is that I can do the watercolor images. There's not that many, just a couple. And then this one and this one. And don't forget, this one is in the tutorials on Facebook already. So if you want to, you can just go ahead and just continue on with this page. And this tutorial, this coloring tutorial of the little girl, very similar to this little guy. So you could really just keep going. This is from their Christmas set last year with the barn and the little Victorian house. That one is from that. You know, these are just little pockets. So, you know, and this one, just little pockets. So you could finish. You really could. But I promise you, I will get these tutorials up, you know, fairly quickly so that you have access to them. Okay, so let's get going. I'm going to show you what I'm using before we get started. First of all, this paper pack. I love this paper pack. I've already said that, I know 100 times, but I really do. It's so cute. Look at all the different colors of papers that are in here. 2-sided, 24 pieces, so you get 2 of each. And this is just a great paper pack. The bundle is still available. So if you want the bundle, you can get all of these things. I think there are 6 pieces in the bundle, including the paper pack. So check that out on the website. We're going to be doing these 2 today. So these come with the stamps and the dies, of course. So we'll cut these out perfectly. This little guy, his little paws cut out so he can, you know, drape over the fence just like that. He's so cute. And then we're going to be using this fence set and the window. So the fence, the country fence, and the window with the shutters. We're going to be using this today in the journal. And then from this set, the mailbox and the birdhouse set. This is from Christmas last year, but it's so versatile. I mean, it's got a Christmas image on the front, but I just literally use it for every occasion. So this one, all the sentiments are from here with the exception of that one that is from here. From this set, the I Love Fall most of all. That one's from here, but the rest of them, I believe, are all from this set. This is from last year, too. It's the Harvest Sentiment set, 5600. And then I'm using these 2 pumpkins. Now, there are several pumpkins that you could use. It doesn't have to be this one, but these are the 2 that I'm using throughout. Mostly this one, mostly 3 stamps. In fact, we are only going to be stamping with 3 stamps in this journal. So the same 3 from the wreath. This is so easy, you guys. So the pumpkin, the little pumpkin, the small one, the little branch, this one right here, and then the foliage, the small little foliage, either to the right or to the left, whichever one is most comfortable for you. I tend to use, Which one do I tend to use? Yeah, the one going to the right. So this one. This is the one that I always tend to use. But I use the other one too. So either one, you can pick those up and use those. So these 3 sets are what we are using today to stamp with. Also this one. So this one is from last year also. This is from the Harvest Pumpkin set, $55.95. You could use any of these. I love the little vines on these. They would just work great. And lots of tutorials on these too from last year. So this one right here, it's just a little bigger one. That's the one that is stamped next to next to the mailbox. This one right here. So those are the stamp sets, and then the dies. So this little die set, and I just kind of use these throughout, up to you. You know, I love these in here, and I love cutting them out of different, you know, papers, and I think they're so cute to do that. I put them next to this little guy with the rake, comes with this little rake, and I put them down here. That's totally optional, up to you. Totally optional, up to you if you want to do that. So this is a set, and it's got the little rake here. And this is dies only, just dies. In the journal itself, obviously we need this set. This is the journal set, and it's got tons of stuff in here. It's got decorative borders. It's got frames. It's absolutely loaded. So the frame that pops up, which one is that? Oh, the accent pages. So the accent pages are right here. This one right here, and that's the decorative pages that are in the journal. So these little pages. And then of course all your pages and everything else you're going to need with that. The cover and the inside pages layering. These are layering dies, and they are great. So we'll be using these. I use these literally in every journal now. The frame that's popping up is from this set, and it's this one right here. And we're going to do this like we did the wreath on the front cover and the little bucket. So see how that frame is double cut, and then this one pops up over the top of the one on the bottom. We're going to do that with this one as well. Isn't that cute? I just think that is just so cute. How that works, and it gives a little 3D effect too. So just another aha moment, you guys. Every time I make these, I literally think of something else. Okay, does anybody, I should be watching this, anybody else waiting to try the set? Yes, love the little dog. Okay, flip out page, right. Would you consider introducing belly bands for the journals and mini journals, fall themes? Definitely, Meredith. Absolutely, definitely we'll do that. Okay, Ruth Ann said, what is the number of that set? And I should have been watching. This set, let me just tell you what sets. 5723 is this one. The journal dies 5543. This one is 5591 with this frame. And, oh, I think Leah just posted them all. Okay, good job. Leah is just on it. She is on it. Okay, you guys, let's get to it. Let's get to our project now. And I went ahead and pre-stamped things because it goes a little bit faster. And I can tell you exactly what I did and how I stamped them. Okay, so here's what I did for this frame. I cut the frame out of the watercolor paper, and then I used my Post-it tape and taped it back together. So just like this. You need to have it, you could do it like this, or you could cut it out after, but it would be hard to position these apart. With a wreath, you could just make a big wreath, and then you could cut it out wherever you wanted to. But this is a square, and they need to come to the corners, really. So this is how I found, the best way to do it is just cut it like this, and then stamp it once it's cut. So you want to tape your pages, your little watercolor sections, tape it back together with your Post-it tape so that you can stamp over the top. Here is this one. This is one of those layering dies. So this is from, let me just show you because I literally use these in every journal. Let me just show you this one. And it's this one right here. So you can see the smaller version here is for inside, and then the larger ones are for the cover and the inside. So the back page, so the center page, that's in the back cover. And I literally use these all the time. So here we go. I went ahead and cut that out, stamped the mailbox, and then I just stamped the little pumpkin in here, and then we'll stamp the little pumpkin that goes on the top. I didn't do that. And then I stamped and cut these little guys out. Stamped them on my watercolor paper, and then cut them out with the dies that are included. And I did that so that I could just glue them together. Once they're colored, we could just glue them together and put them in the journal. But see what I mean about his little paws? See how they're cut out? So they can just go over the top, you know, of a little fence or anything. So let me just show you because it's just so cute. So here he is. He can just be, you know, over the top of his little fence, just like that. And then here's the back side of him. Well, here's the back side of him. So here would be the back side of him, just like that. So he could go a lot of places, including a window or just a square opening. Just a little square opening would be really cute. Maybe there's a cute little message behind him. So if you cut out a square and you put him in the square and on the front of your card, the front and back, just his face. And then inside is a little message, you know, maybe a little happy birthday message with a little balloon inside. I think that would be so cute. So this little guy is really versatile. He can go anywhere, and so can these little kids. So I made dies to go with them, little fence dies that can go in the journal, but they can literally sit on anything. You could put them anywhere, like literally anywhere. Just even in a you know, cut a square out, and you could put them in there because they're fronts and backs. Okay, so let's start out with the first page. Let me move these over to the side for now. Get my palette ready. And here are my stamps that I'm going to be using, like literally these three. And then the colors, let me tell you the colors. So the orange, the 933, this is a really light orange. It has a lot of yellow in it. So it's really a true orange. We have another one that has a little more red in it. This is the 925, and that's just totally your preference. This one is, like I said, this one's lighter with a little more yellow. This one is redder, darker. So either one is going to work. I prefer this one. When it comes to pumpkins and things like that, I just prefer this one. So this is the one I'm using, but you can use the other one too. The 856 red, this is a warmer red, and it really works well with the fall. It works great with the orange. So these two colors work really, really well together. Some reds have more blue in them, so they have a pinker tone. This one is warmer, so that just means that it has some, you know, yellow in it, or warm. It's warmer. So think about that. If it has yellow, it's warmer. If it has blue, it's cooler. So just kind of think of it that way. So these two colors mostly, and then this one that is my new favorite color. How many of you have gotten this color? Because I absolutely love it. This is my new favorite, my favorite new color, because I mix this all the time. I mix this with the warm blue, the 526, and then I mix it with the cool green, which is the 247. I should have these memorized by now, but the 249. So this one and the warm blue. So these two, I mix these two all the time, and I get a variation of this color. And here it is. It's in a pen. And I still mix with it because you can add a little more blue to it to warm it up, or you can add more green to it to make it a little greener. So This is just a absolutely amazing, wonderful, cool color that I just love. All of the vines and everything I use with the number 27. It's just a little warmer. It's not as harsh as using a brown, a dark brown on the branches. And it makes it a little more green. So it's actually, it's actually considered a brown, but to me, it's an olive green. Just no question. It's an olive green. So these three are really basically what we're using. We're still doing some shadows with this one, the 565. And then the twin tone. So the dark brown twin tone. If you don't own one of these, I would invest in one of these. The dark brown and the dark blue. And if you just want to get one, get the dark brown. So I think I use these in almost every project now. Oh, the skin tone. So I'm going to use this for the skin tone. It's a 912. It's a good neutral, kind of a starting place. You can add more color to the skin depending on what ethnicity you want to make these kids. So you can add more color, warm browns or cool browns to it. But this is a good starting spot, a good starting point, the 912. Okay. Here we go. We're going to start out with this one, and I'm going to use my my dark brown. So I'm going to ink the pumpkins with the 969, and then I'm going to just get a piece of scrap watercolor paper. And by the way, I know I probably have said this 100 times, but make sure when you're stamping off on watercolor paper, not cardstock, because cardstock will just suck all the ink out of the stamp and there will be nothing left. So it has to be watercolor paper to stamp it off. You need some color left on there. You just want to get that dark color off of there, especially if your pens are new. You've got a lot of pigment on there, and so you want to stamp it off. And always be sure to use watercolor paper. And, I don't know if I've said this lately, but Canson is my go-to, and I've tried a lot of watercolor papers. Canson is my go-to. So sometimes if you're struggling, it can be your paper. It honestly can. If you can't move the color, it could be just textured cardstock, honestly. So you need to get really good watercolor paper. We carry the Canson. It's the only one we carry now. And it is absolutely the best for the price. And you can cut each piece into 4s, and you can get a lot of little canvases. So I can see that, I see people struggle sometimes, and I can tell right away that it's the paper. So, keep that in mind. It's worth the investment if you're struggling with the paper. So check that out. Okay. Let's go ahead and we're going to stamp our little pumpkin, and I'm going to stamp it off on here. Now, you could use your, this is rubber, so you can't see exactly where it's going, but you could guess. I'm probably just going to guess. So I'm going to stamp it off, and then I'm going to just kind of, maybe put it, right here, and then I'll just huff on it, and maybe I'll put another one over here. And you can see that when you tape that down, it stamps great. So the ink doesn't, get stuck in this little well here. It works great. So you could do this with any of your frames. Just tape it up on the back, cut it, and then just tape it up. All right, so now I'm going to add some color to the pumpkins, and I'm going to do that with the green. So I'm going to use this green. Isn't that just the prettiest color? Have I told you guys how much I love this pen? I absolutely love this pen. Deborah says, I've experimented and Canson works best. Me too, Deborah. And I usually am not, if I'm adamant about something, I really truly believe it. And, with the paper, there are very few things that you could, that could cause you to, be frustrated, because the stamps are going to work, the technique works. But if you are not using a water-based marker that has enough pigment in it, so for example, to test your markers, maybe you don't have Tombows, maybe you have something else. To test your marker, use a rubber stamp like this one and color it, just ink it. If you can't get 5 impressions, so let me show you what I mean. So ink your stamp like this. If you can't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you can't get 5 impressions like this with one inking, your pen isn't wet enough. It doesn't have enough ink in it, and it's not going to work as well. So that's a really good way to test it. So make sure you are using good markers that have, the right amount of pigment in it. Make sure you're using good paper, good watercolor paper from the fine arts section, not in the craft section, but from the fine arts section. Like I said, Canson is my go-to. That's the one that I use and I have the best results with. And then, really your brush could also be an issue. That isn't as big. That wouldn't be as big of an issue as your paper or your markers. So here's the one I use. I like simple tools. So I use this connoisseur. Look how worn it is. I use these connoisseur brushes because for the money, they're really, really good quality. And they do wear out eventually. They will wear out and you will have to replace them, but they're not, hundreds of dollars. They're not super expensive. And you really need just simple tools. So a large brush of 4, to start with a 1 or a 0. And then you can add a 6 later. You could add your, the other brushes later if you want to, but really, simple tools will do the job, honestly. And, to be frustrated with it is just the worst. And I don't want you to give up because I think you could be an artist and I don't want you to get frustrated with, your tools that you're using. So, okay, let's get on with this. Does anybody feel that? Have you tried other papers? Does anybody, feel like that's the case? With the paper, because it really was for me. And if you can't, when you go to stamp your image, you can't move the ink. You can't take your brush and just move that ink and pull that color out of the lines. Then it's probably your paper. It really is, because even with it stamped off, you should still be able to pull that color out of the lines. So see, even just like this, you can just pull that. See how it doesn't matter that these lines are here, these cut lines at all. It just works great. Julie, yes, and Canson works best. Me too, Julie. I wish they made a better white. They just have this one, and it's kind of an off-white, so it's more of an antique white. I like it, but I wish there was an option for the white. I agree. And I wish, I wish Tombow would come out with some more greens. That's another thing. I wish they would come out with some more natural colors that, we could use besides the 2 that we use all the time. So that's also something that I wish they would do. Okay, so I've added some color to this node. Now I'm going to take my my color from my palette, and I'm going to just add it to my little pumpkins here. Leave that little highlight. And the reason too that we start out with the brown instead of a green, or an orange, it's because it needs to have that that dark, that sepia color to kind of cement it down. It needs to have depth. I guess that's the best way to say it. Because if we were to stamp this, in this green, or we were to stamp it in an orange and then add the color to it, it's too weak. It doesn't have any depth to it. It doesn't look like a thing. We want it to look like an actual pumpkin. And we need this, this darker color in there to get that. So that when we're done with it, you can see this darker brown in the background. Okay, I'm going to take my twin tone and I'm going to darken this stem. Like so, and then let's do this one. Elaine says, I've used Canson for 25 years. Oh, wow. You know what? I used Strathmore for a lot of years. I used Strathmore. And the problem with Strathmore that I found is it's not consistent in the texture. And it was fine as far as stamping on it. But when I found the Canson, it's so uniform. You know, every time I, pull out a new pad of watercolor paper, it's consistent with the one before it. So the Strathmore would vary so much in the texture. And sometimes the paper was so textured that you couldn't really stamp on it. So that also was kind of a big deal for me, switching over to the Canson. And I like the Strathmore because I felt like it was a good value. You know, I don't like things to be too expensive. And I felt like it was a good value for the money, but the Canson is just as good. And really, you get more in your paper pad. Okay, so now that we've got these, let's go ahead and put in our little branches. And we're going to use that olive green, this one right here. And let me just move this out of the way here. So I'm going to turn my canvas like this so that I can get, these branches kind of on each side. And we can go back and add more to it later. So I'm just getting a few in here just for now. And, I just kind of, along the edge, you can just kind of, put it wherever. So you could make this little border go all the way around if you want to. So let's put this one in and maybe one more down here. And then we'll do this one and maybe this one a little bit longer. Okay? So don't stress out about this. This is nothing to be concerned about, that you're getting it in the right area or if you're stamping it right. Like, none of that is a big issue with this. And we're going to do the same thing now with the foliage. So I'm going to start out with the orange. And you don't want to get too much foliage on here because this is just kind of the leftover of the leaves because it's fall. So we're just adding a few kind of, on the ends of these little branches. And it really helps to turn the canvas, or it helps me. So again, just think about it as you're kind of just adding a little residual foliage to these little branches. And then let's go to the red. So we're going to add, and I'm using just the first little tip of this, so not the whole thing. So just the tip of these little leaves. And the red, a little red goes a long way. So you don't have to add a ton of it. And you can always go back and add a little bit more. But what we don't want is to get it really full of foliage. Okay, now I'm going to add a little blue in here, just kind of in and around here from my palette. So that would be this blue. So the 565. And I'm just going to add it for a little background. Now, this is totally up to you too, if you want to do this. I think it adds a little more depth to this. And we're just going to kind of put it just like we did with the little wreath. And you could make this really simple, just a few little branches and you're done. Okay. And you could do a border like this too, or just one corner. Maybe you just want to do one corner. That would also be really cute. Just this little corner, just like this. Okay, so now I'm going to dip my brush, and this time I'm not going to pinch it off as much as I would before. And I'm just going to dab and let the color kind of bleed out. You see how much water, let me hold this up. See how much, can you see how much water is on that, on those little leaves? There's really quite a bit there. And I'm just touching it and kind of letting it just bleed out. And it's okay to get that branch in there too. And it just creates this just beautiful combination of the orange and the red. So I'm going to turn this again. So just let it kind of pool in there. You're just kind of dropping little kind of droplets of water. And, you know, before you do your actual project, just practice it a little bit. So, you know, just take a piece of scratch, you know, watercolor paper, stamp it on there a few times like you would here, and then practice adding the water to it. And then once we get this on here, we can kind of see if we need to add some somewhere else. If we need to add a few more of these little branches or... And I think I'm going to add just a little bit more to this one. This one's pretty good here, but I feel like this one's kind of, you know, sparse up here. So I'm just going to add a little bit more of this, maybe up here. And just maybe I'll just put one here. And then a little red. And I don't think we need much else. Maybe just a little bit of red here. And then just the same thing again, you know, just touch those little leaves with your brush. And don't overwork it. Don't overdo it. Let it kind of bleed out a little bit and just let those leaves kind of fall where they want. Okay, so now I'm going to take my red. So this is my 856, the bullet tip, and we're going to make these little berries in here. Just like we did on the wreath. And you could add a few little dots in here too. But they're really cute, kind of in clusters. And they don't, you know, have to all be the same size. You know, we don't like anything too uniform. So maybe a few little dots here, maybe a couple little berries here, maybe a couple here. And then once you've got all that done, go ahead and take your little branch again, and you can go over it. So you could add a few more little branches in here, right over the top. And I think that adds a lot too. So maybe we just want to put one down in here like this. And, you know, maybe we just have one kind of up here. Maybe this one kind of goes in here. But this little branch is just, it's such a good, because the little branches are really small. And so they just kind of blend in. And you don't need any water with these. So you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to add any water to it. And that's about all we have to do with this. You could drag a little bit of this color out if you want to, just to kind of add a little more background. And you don't need any water, you know, on the little dots either. So see how cute that is? That's just so cute. And then you can just add your little sentiment to it, whatever you want to add on here. And then you can just take these little Post-it tapes off. Take that off. And they don't, you know, it doesn't rip your paper. And now you've got your cute little frame that you can just pop up like that with your cute sentiment in it. Okay, so let's move these out of the way. And let's go on to the next one. And then once we get these done, we're going to assemble them in the in our journal. So let's go ahead and let's stamp on here the little pumpkin that goes onto the top of the mailbox. And I'm just going to do that with my stamp positioner. So just like this, I'm going to ink it in that dark brown. And then stamp it into the corner like that. So now I can see exactly where I want it to go. And I think I want it maybe tipped a little bit. And you can see it's going to stamp over the top of that mailbox. So I need a little piece of Post-it tape. And I'll just use one of these. And put it on here like this. Now, if it covers and you can't see it, you can take your pencil and just kind of draw your little boundaries in here. So it's got to go between these two lines. That's where that pumpkin has to go. And probably just kind of centered in there. So I'm going to just put it like this, kind of tip it a little bit, and then huff on it. And there we go. All right, so now I'm just going to come under here and just make a little, you know, line like that. And then we've got our pumpkin on top. Super easy. With this one, I just covered this post like this, stamped that pumpkin on here, and drew the other side in with my pencil. See, just like this. Then I didn't have to cut a piece of masking tape, you know, or Post-it tape that's skinny like that and stamp it over the top. So I just covered this whole area and then stamped that in, or just penciled it in. Okay, so now let's get going on this. And we're just going to pull the color out of the lines. And this, of course, is going to be darker inside here. We'll have a shadow under here, under here. And then we've got our little pumpkin. And then we'll have a shadow under here as well. Okay, and that's all we have to do to start. So let's add some color onto here. So let's do this pumpkin. Let's do this one orange. And then we'll do the one on the top. We'll do that one green. So pay attention to where those highlights would be. You know, right in here and then right in here. Just leave those little highlights. Nothing to it. Just, you know, where you see these lines, that's where the color is kind of going to be the darkest. Just like that. And then let's add some dark to our little stem here. Like so. And then let's add some color on this one. Same thing here in the center. That's where that highlight would be. And our stem. And I'm just using, you know what, this works the best I've found is to just use your little fine tip and draw these lines in, because these stems have a lot of texture to them. And so you're just kind of putting those lines back in. Okay, so now let's add some color onto the mailbox. And I just put a little orange stripe on here. And then maybe another small one, like so. And then on the inside, that we would have a shadow in here. So this is going to be darker inside the mailbox. And actually kind of, you know, down here too. And then we can just add a little shadow under here. And that just, basically what that does is show that this is hanging over. There's an overhang. That the mailbox is wider than the post. Put a little shadow on there, put a little shadow on here. And then let's add a little red to that flag. Okay, we're almost finished with this one. I'm just going to add a little blue into the background, just for a little bit of sky. Just kind of, you know, the idea of it. So just lightly. Okay, so now we're ready to add our little branches. You guys, you're going to get really good at this with this branch and with this little foliage. It's so easy. So we're going to use that same olive green, and we're just going to kind of grow this up, you know, wherever. And then maybe just another one kind of out here. And, you know, we might as well just put one kind of up here. And then just a little orange. And, you know, I had some red on here before. That's okay, because you like this combination. We like this combination of the orange and red. So if some of the leaves are a little more orange and some are redder, that's okay. And then I need a little red. Just a little. And then a little bit up here. And that's it. And then do the same thing. Let the colors just kind of bleed together. Just touch it and let them just kind of bleed out. Okay, there we go. And let's add our little berries in. Make sure that's dry first, or I'll put them in the drier spots. Okay, I think that turned out so cute. Isn't that cute? That would be so simple. So simple to do. You know what? Let's put one more little branch up here. And I think just maybe behind here. Okay, there we go. This one is finished. So let's set this one aside. And then let's go on to the next page. And they are these little pumpkins. And they're so simple to do. We're going to do one white. We're going to leave one white. And then we'll do one green. So just pull this color out, just like you did, just like we did on the other ones, exactly the same. And then we'll do one white. So we'll just take a little bit of blue and just put a little shadow in here. just a little bit. And then the other one we'll do with the green. And if you want that color darker, just make another pass over it, you know. And then let's do our stem. By the time, you know, fall is over, you could be doing pumpkins in your sleep. That's how many you're going to be doing because they're so fun. And then you know what? We're going to be doing Halloween pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns. So you get to just be able to do them so quick. And they just turn out so cute. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little sky in the background. So just a little bit of this blue, just kind of back here. And these little, you know, medallions, they're so cute in the journal. If you back them up, you know, with some, you know, really pretty paper, they're so cute and they're small. So they just, you know, when you need something, you know, on a page and you're not sure what to put on it, one of these little guys works great. Okay, so same branch. And we just need to stamp it one time, just literally once like this. And then let's do the other one kind of the opposite way. So like that. And then our little leaves, like literally this is it. And then the red, just a little bit of red. And then again, just let it just bleed out. Just touch it. And I'm just going to put a little shadow just right here on the bottom. See how cute those are? So cute. So let's move them out of the way and let them dry. And let's go on to our little kids. So the little girl and the dog. So the little dog, we're just going to do him in the warm brown. So that is this color. So the 947. And I'm just going to put this color onto my palette. And it's just a matter of just brushing it on. So you can pull the color out of the lines first. And I cut it out, you know, first before coloring it, and it works fine. So I didn't cut any of these lines off. So there's still plenty of color in here. He's so cute. And then let's take some of this brown and we're just going to add it in sections. So you could leave his little paws white if you wanted. Leave his little belly white. Maybe the kind of the tip of his tail maybe can be a little lighter. And you just do each section at a time. And I did his ears darker. I kind of made them a little bit darker. And then his little face, I kind of made that a little lighter. Okay, that's really all you have to do with this little guy. And then just do the back. You know, when you're coloring with a brush, you don't get those, you're not fighting those brush marks. And I just, you know, I kind of just keep my brush on the image. I don't really, you know, I just kind of move the color around. And then let's just do a little pink on his cheek. And then a little pink in his ear. And we could do just a little bit over here. And then his ears, let's do these darker. Okay, so now we just got to get his eyes back in. We got to get his little eye back in. And then his little nose. And then you could just put a couple little details in his paws if you want. And the same over here. And there we go. This little guy's done. And he's so quick and easy to do. He's so fast. And her too. She's not hard to do either. So let's do this little girl, and then we'll be ready to assemble. We'll be ready to assemble this. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to get that flesh tone on here. So this is the 912 flesh tone. And then I've already got my light brown. And then I'm going to use my green for her little pants and my orange for her shirt. So I think we're good. So the first thing we're going to do is, of course, pull that color out of the lines. We want to kind of keep her skin, you know, where her skin is. We want to keep that pretty light. And we don't want to mix too much color into it. I guess that's what I'm saying. Too much of this brown. And then let's do this side over here. And you could, you know, you don't necessarily need the back side too. If you want to just sit her on a bench, you could just use the front of her, or maybe just the back of her to be cute too. Okay, she's starting to look a little three-dimensional. Okay, there we go. So let's start adding some color onto her. And, you know, just like with anything, you want to keep the face pretty light. Pretty light. You know, this is where the highlight is. Regardless of the skin color, you know, however dark you're going to make the skin, you still want to keep the area where the eyes are. I want to keep that the lightest. Is there a way to put her on a mushroom? Sure. How cute would that be? You could put her on the mushroom. Oh, that would be so cute. That's a great idea. Laura says, I like a good terracotta marker. Me too. Me too. The closest one to terracotta is probably that dark orange. So it's the other one. It's this color, the 925. And if you add if you add a little red to it and some orange to it, you can get that terracotta, but you have to kind of mix it on your palette. But yeah, I agree. There's so many colors. If I had a choice, I would ask them. Leah, oh, the back of her on a swing watching the sun. Oh, that would be so cute. Yes, great idea. Yeah, that would be great. That would be so cute. I know, I love the ideas, you guys. Okay. And, you know, I've got her face. Her face is pretty light, so I'm going to add a little pink to her cheeks. And then, you know, where you could add a little more color is under her her hairline here. You could add a little bit more here. And then here under, you know, under her neck, you know, that could be a little bit darker too. So I'm going to now put her little eyes and nose back in. And, you know, with these little kids, it's better to leave the nose really light. Just leave that nose really light and just focus on the eyes, you know, keeping the eyes dark. And let's keep going here. So let's do her hair. You could just make her hair whatever color you want. Leave a little highlight on the top. And let's do this over here. And you can see how it's kind of drawn, you know, that her hair is kind of drawn down. So you want to kind of keep your brush strokes down like that. See where her hair connects with the little band? You know, same on this side. So pull that, you know, pull that hair down. See, like this. And then let's just put a little of this brown on her soles of her shoes. Each little section. So the soles of her shoes have 2 sections. So you want to just do both of those individually. Ruth Ann, great tip on the hair. You know what? Little things like this are really important to make things look realistic and natural. It is. It's such a little thing, but If you kind of pay attention to stuff like that, you'll be amazed at the difference that it makes overall in your composition. So I'm making her little bands here. Make these orange or whatever color. And let's do her little overalls now. So we're just gonna add some color here to these. And you know what? Just like I always say, try to leave some white space. Just try to leave some white space. It just makes things look a little more realistic, like there's, you know, a little bit of motion, movement. You know, darker under here where her legs, you know, are bent. Could go a little darker under there. Isn't she cute? And your, you know, little fabric lines, you can do that too. And it's always better to leave some white spaces. Even if you're not sure exactly where the white spaces should go, you're still going to be happier if you do it that way. Okay, so now I'm going to leave your little shoes white, but we could put maybe a little red. Maybe we could just put a little red. Actually, I need a small brush. Just a little, and a heart is just 2 little lines. Just 2 little lines like that. So cute. And let's do this just a little bit different. Let's do a little striped shirt on there. And follow the lines. That's so important that you don't just make straight lines when you're doing things like this. Just follow that contour. See how that's bowed right there? And this is bowed up here. And this one, see that little line right there? Just these little things make a huge difference. See that difference with that, with these bowed lines like this? Just curve them a little bit. You know, if you make that straight, then her arm is going to look straight. And the same with this one. So they're just, so follow these little contours. See where the sleeve is? You're just going to follow that contour and you're just going to make the line just like that. And then I think, you know, we could just put a little shadow, you know, underneath her, her little pants. Like this. We could put some little buttons on her little overalls. You could add just some little stitch lines on here like that if you want to. Little tag. A little shadow under the sleeve. And let me hold these up because they're a little small, but you can see. See how cute? Just so cute. And you know what? Even though they're, obviously they're little stamped images, but we can make them look realistic. You can make them look like little paintings just by these little, like just little tricks, just tiny little tricks. I'm going to just take my bullet tip on my orange and I'm going to make these, her little head ribbons, just a little darker. Okay, so now let's move the palette out of the way and get all of this back in here. And then let's glue these together. So I'm going to take my glue now and I'm going to glue these together. Now, when you're gluing the dog, just make sure you don't put any glue over here where his paws are. So you don't glue those down. So you want those to be able to move around. So I've left all this area open. And then always start at the bottom. You know, make sure I get that, the bottom part, and then I just kind of, you know, lean it up to the top. And there we go. He's just so cute, and he's all glued together. And then you could take a, little, I'll just take this little pin here, and just pull these out a little bit so that they're easy to kind of hook onto the window or the fence. So cute. Okay, let's do her. So we're going to glue some glue on her little feet. And just, you know, kind of start at the bottom or at the top. You could start at the top too and just kind of, you know, lower it down. Because this glue that I have dries so fast. And so I want to be sure to get it in there. Isn't she just so cute? Just her little front and back. So here these guys are. All right, so now let me move these over to the side. And let's get our journal out. So here's where we were. And I went ahead and put that sentiment on here from last time. We had just done the wreath only. And then we did this one. So on these pages, I went ahead and glued them in and put the accent paper on. It doesn't matter what accent paper you use. You could use any, and it's going to work. It's going to work great. So on this page, we're just going to put this little border on here. So we can glue this down first. So we'll just add the glue to here. And just kind of glue it right in the center of the page. Make sure that's straight. Like so. And then I'm going to use these little, dots, foam dots. These are a little easier to use than those ones I used last time. Couldn't get them off the backing. And these are a little shallower. They're not as tall. And I think they work really well. So just put a bunch of these on. One more. Okay, and then, of course, we'll just pull these off. And I'll be curious if you guys try this, because I just think it just added so much dimension. And you can still do it the opposite way. You know, I'll probably still do it the opposite way sometimes, but I love how the main part of it just pops out. Okay, so now this will go in here. Make sure I get this. Make sure you get this straight. Maybe starting in the corner is the best thing to do. start in the corner, and then you know you're good. How cute is that? That is just so cute. And then your little sentiment. So in this one, I just put the fall breeze and autumn leaves. That's from that harvest sentiment set. I put that in there. So you could do that. And then on this page, the little mailbox. So this one goes in here. So let's put in, and I cut out a couple of little accent. See, these are both from those, from that layering die set. And so I'm going to just glue these in just like this so that I can have a little pocket. So I'm just going to glue this one down first. And just the edges, because I'm not sure where I want the pocket. And you know, I might have multiple things tucked in this pocket. So I'm going to just do this one first. And I think I'll just put it right about there. That looks pretty good. And then we'll glue this one down the same way. So just on the edge. And let me know if you try that leaf idea, because I just think that would be so cute to have the little leaves coming out of the mailbox. See how great these work? So you get all these different edges that you can use to layer and make these so cute. And then this one, it just goes right on the top here, just like this. So now we can glue this on. And the same thing, I'm just going to glue this along the edge so we can have multiple pockets in here. And maybe I'll just go right to that edge so that I can kind of see that decorative edge on the side. Whoops. Like so. Isn't that just so cute? I just think that little decorative edge, these edges just add a ton to that journal. So now on here, I just cut out a little banner and stamped a little thank you on here, thankful. So this is all part of that harvest sentiment set. So I'm just going to glue this on here. And this is just a little rectangle with rounded corners. I just rounded the corners on it. Now, why did I glue that? Okay, you guys, I have no idea why I just glued that, other than to put this on it. So, you know, let's just let that dry for a second. And, you know, we're just going to move on to the next thing. And then we'll come back to this after it's dried, because I have no idea why I put all that glue on there. That just, because this is going to slide in here like this. And so it doesn't need to be glued to anything. So I'm going to set this over here to dry. And, yep, sometimes we just have haywires. Okay. Sue Graham says, very cute project. I've been a silent watcher. Notification woke me up at 5 a.m. Washed my face, did my makeup. I started carrying on with a 60th card for a birthday we are attending this weekend. Oh, how fun. Can't wait to order my gnome bundle and start working on some journals, which I haven't attempted yet. Great. Sue, you're going to have fun with the journals. They are so much fun to do. They really are. And you know what? I mean, here's a warning. They're kind of addicting. You'll just, you know, once you make one, you'll have so many ideas for another one. So, okay, Marianne says, what is so pleasing to the eyes, how the beautiful paper pack compliments hues all around. Yes, it does. It's so important, Marianne. You are so right. And, you know, having all of these things, it's sort of like framing all of your art in the journal. That's really what it is. It's that these papers match our pen colors and match our projects. And then it looks like it's just a complement to the whole thing, and it all kind of flows together. So yes, it's so important. 100% agree with you. Okay, so let's do these other pages. Let's do these first. So let's glue these on, the little pumpkins. Can't believe I glued that back side of that. You know what? I mean, I had a haywire on the last one too, you guys. So I don't know what that means. You know, I don't know what that means. It has something to do with being, 66. I'm sure of it. I'll just blame it on that. Okay, so I have glued these now to these little decorative circles. Aren't they cute? See, everything just goes together. It's just so cute. All right, now, so let me just move this out of the way. And we're going to put this page together. So I've got all my little windows and fences and everything. So here's how the pages work. So basically you're going to make two. And with mine, I have these cutouts because I wanted a window and I wanted a fence in here. But if you aren't doing that, you're just doing something, simple as a fold out, you don't need to do that. But before you add anything to it, you need to add these to your journal. You need to cut your openings out. So don't glue anything into your journal if it needs an opening like this. You want to cut that first and then put it into your journal. It's because you can't run it through your die cutting machine once it's glued into the journal. This is how this is going to go together. So just like this. It's going to attach on the opposite side like this. And so you have to, before you cut out your opening, you have to put your accent paper down too. So you got to glue all of this down. And then I die cut my little edge. And then I did my paper on both sides of this one too. So you do have to, let's bring this down a little bit. You do have to do that first. So now with this one, this is the fence. And I used the little die to cut the fence out, the opening out. And then I'm going to place this decorative little fence over the top. So we're going to start with it this way. And this is how I do it now. So I just lay this down over the top like this, and I can see where the center is, and then I can glue it down like that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around the opening. So just a little bit. Just like this, just right around that opening. And then I'm going to lay it down here and make sure I got it in the center. And now I know it's going to be perfectly in place on the other side. And I should not have put that glue down there. Darn it, that's the second haywire, you guys. Don't put the glue down at the bottom because this opening, the fence stops right here. The window goes across the bottom, but the fence doesn't. Okay, so then this one, we're going to glue right over the top. And I can just glue right to here. So I can just glue right on this fence. And just glue this down. Whoops. Just make sure you line that up, with the one that's down below, and then just glue it down. Isn't that cute? Now there are two colors. So there's a light color like this, and there's a dark color like this. And I just used one on each side. Okay, so now, once that's done, we're going to glue our little girl to the fence. And we can do that one at the very end when we're ready. When we finish gluing these in. So now let's go to the other page. And here's the one that's going to fit on like this. So this is the front of it. And so this one is going to also have, we're going to glue onto here because we're going to fit this window right over the opening. So same thing here. And then I'm going to just lay it flat like this, and then just lay this right over the top. Like so. And then I know that it's in the center like that. And then this one back here is going to go right over the top of this one. And it's easy to line this one up because I can see exactly where it's going. Okay, so we've got our little window on the front, and both of them are finished now on both sides. So a front and back window, front and back, little kids. So now let's glue our little shutters down. And these just go right in the center here, right in between the little sill and the frame. And let's see, let's go this way. How cute. How cute. Okay, let's do this side now. Okay, are you guys still on with me? Because, wow, is this one, this is going to be another marathon one, you guys. Who's still on? Okay, there we go. So I've got the shutters on the front and the back. Isn't that cute? So cute. And then what I did, I just cut out this little pocket, and I'm going to put it underneath the little window. And you could, you know, literally put anything in there. I put a little sentiment in there, but you could put anything in there. And the little tabs, you just glue the little tabs to the back side, like this. Still here, Mary. Okay, good. Anna's still here. Arlene, yay, you guys are diehards. Thank you so much. Oh, Sandy says, I love marathons. Okay, well, this, you know what? This is going to be a marathon. Anybody have any questions on this yet so far? Now we're ready to glue this on. So let me glue this on, and then I'll see if you guys have any questions. So literally this is it. So there's 2 pages. One is just going to glue here. So we're just going to glue this down now. I mean, literally, it's this easy. And yes, you could do it with your little mini journal. I think that would be so cute. And it would give you another page. So just like this, just glue that down, let that dry for a second. Make sure that's really dry because it does, we do have to fold it, so we don't want it to come loose. So in the meantime now, okay, let me get this that I absolutely, you know, I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, it's got a little sticky back, but who cares? So I'm going to glue my little tab to it now, like this. And this little tab is in, it's in this set. So this is the rectangle journal, the journal rectangle frame set. This is the same frame, the set that has this frame that we just used. And it has this little tab in it, which is just, I think is so cute. So now I'm just going to add some glue here and here. And then I'm going to just put it on here and see if I can get it straight in the center or close. Okay, close enough. And then our little sentiment just goes right on here. There we go. Okay, that's what I meant to do. Not put glue on this side. Okay, so let's put this back in here now, since we've got this ready. And I think it could go just right here. This will be so cute. And just tuck this right in here. Like that. And that'll be so cute, just sticking out like that. We've got this little thankful note in here. And you could put another one. You could do another little one with another little tab. That would be so cute right here. And then maybe another one, you guys. You could just do them all over the place on this page. I think that would be so cute. All right, so now this should be dry. So now we can kind of fold it over and just score that. Make sure that's really scored. Just like this. And then let's go ahead and glue it in. to the journal. So this side, I'm going to glue it right there. So this side. And then it's got to, you know, glue flush to the back page. So we're just putting it in here just like this. Gonna let that dry just for a minute, too. Just let that dry. And in the meantime, let's glue in these little guys, which are so cute. So we'll just put one here, kind of right in the middle. And then we'll put another one right below. Okay, there we go. And now we can glue this little pocket right to here. And that will be so cute right there. Put a little note in there. Whatever you want to do. And then we've got these guys. So now our little dog. Oh, you know what else? I forgot. I made the little curtain. And I just used the decorative edge, and I just cut a little square that fits right in here. I mean, literally just right inside. So let's just glue that in. There we go. So we've got our little curtain. And then now we can glue this little girl in. And she can go, so she's going to go right here in the center. And you can put her on the top like this, or you could put her down on this one. And I want to be able to kind of see her through the window. So I just put her down on this rung here. And I think that just turned out so cute. And then we'll put the little dog in the window next to her. So this little guy, and let's put a little foam dot on him on this side. So we can hook his, little paws in the window. And he can just be right there. Like that. So cute. And then her, so if we put her right here, can we see her in the window? Let's move her over a little bit. There she is. Let's put her right here. And actually, let's just put the glue on here. Cute. That turned out great. And then, you know, once we get our center image in here, we'll be able to see that through the backside. So we've got our page that looks like this, all done. This folds over, and then we've got our page on the back, just like this. Make sure she's glued down in there. Isn't that cute? Look at that little guy. You could put anything up here. So I put on mine, actually, let me just put in this little Harvest Blessings little note in here. I put on my first one, I put these little leaves falling. You could put some little leaves in this pocket. You could put this little squirrel up here if you want to. You could have a little bird. You could have a little sentiment in a circle. You could have him looking at anything. He could just be looking at anything up here in the corner. And then this is what you would see now, the back of her. And I put some more leaves in here too, so That's totally up to you if you want to do that.